Hey guys, Penetration Nation, Michael here. I'm going to be doing my favorite class currently, which is the Kilo 141 and the Mac 10. They are both max guns, so let's get into it. Alright, so first up we have the muzzle, the monolithic suppressor. The pros are sound suppression and damage rate. The cons are aim down sight speed and aim walking steadiness. I use the monolithic suppressor for all of my guns. I have it. It's like a really good muzzle, personally, for me. Yeah, so that's for muzzle. Next up, we're gonna have barrel. The Singard Arms 19.8 Prowler. Alright, so the pros are damage range, bullet velocity, and recoil control. The cons are aim down sight speed and movement speed. So, I really like the Singard Arms 19.8. It's like a pretty good barrel. And you might be wondering why I don't use the Singard Arms 16.6 Succumb. It has less comms, and yeah, well, the reason I use the Singard Arms 19.8 Prowler is because, well, if you look down at the stats, it has better accuracy, better range, and better control, but less mobility. But if you look at the Singard Arms 16.6 Succumb, it has worse accuracy, worse range, but better mobility, but worse control, which is pretty bad. So that's why I keep the Singard Arms 19.8 Prowler. Next up, for my class for the Kilo, you will have the optic, VLK 3.0x optic. I really like the zoom level on this optic, and it's pretty clear inside. But the only con is the aim down sight speed. It's a really good optic for me. It has like better accuracy, better range, worse mobility, and worse control. But it's pretty good other than that. Um, so what you'll want to have for underbarrel of this class is the Commando foregrip. It's a really good foregrip, well, underbarrel, and I really like it. Its pros are recoil stabilization and aiming stability. The con is movement speed, which is bad because you need to be fast, but it it makes up with the recoil stabilization and aiming stability. And also it has better accuracy, better range, worse mobility, and better control. But all that makes up for that. So it's good. I really like that. And for last up on the Kilo, we'll have the magazine. For the magazine, you'll want to have the 60 round mag. It has the max ammo and it isn't the slowest, because if you look, you'd be wondering why I don't have the 100 round drum. It's because it would be slower to take out and slower to reload, which wouldn't be good. So you would want to have the 60 round mag with faster reloading, which would be good. Alright, so that's all we have for the Kilo 141. Next up is my Mac 10. A max level of 55 Mac 10. So for the muzzle, I have agency suppressor. If you look, it has a lot of pros. Sound suppression, vertical recoil control, bullet velocity, effective damage range. But the cons are aim down sight speed, aim walking steadiness, and aiming stability. So the cons take a lot off, but the pros help me a lot more than the cons would. So that's a sacrifice you'd have to take for it. So next up for the barrel, it would be the 5.9 Task Force. The pros are the effective damage range, bullet velocity, and strafe speed. And the cons are vertical recoil control and horizontal recoil control. It's not a big deal about the cons because it's just recoil control, but at the same time it is because recoil means a lot. But all of the pros make up for that, and I really like this barrel. So yeah, oops, I took it off. Alright, so for the laser, you'll want to have the Ember sighting point for my class. I know there's a lot more cons than the pros, but personally, I think it's a really clear laser, so that's why I like it. And the pros are effective damage range, range and hip fire accuracy, but there's more cons than pros, and the cons would be flashlight visible to enemies, aim down sight time, and sprint to fire time. So it's like slower, but it does give you a pretty good stat on the bottom. So like that's why I use this, very clear to me. The underbarrel, you'd want to have the field agent grip. It has the same amount of pros as cons, which would be vertical recoil control and horizontal recoil control. So if you look, it would make up for the recoil control on the task force, the 5.9 task force barrel. So the cons are firing movement speed and adds firing move speed. So like the movement speed isn't good on this, but I personally like it. And last up, for the Mac 10 attachments, you would want to have the Salvo 53 round fast mag. So I like the 53 fast mag because it's a really fast reloading mag. You can get it done quick and has 53 rounds, which is the most you can have for all of this, so it's very helpful. And the pros would be ammo capacity and reload quickness, and the cons would be aim down sight time. So those are both of the gun's attachments. So for this class, for my perks, I have Quick Fix. It's killing players and inserting plates immediately. Starts health regeneration. Capturing and holding objective increases your health regeneration rate, which is good because you regenerate a lot faster than you would normally. And for the perk 2, I have Overkill. Carry 2 primary weapons. Because you can carry 2 weapons, but if you turned that off, you could only have a pistol and a melee or something. And for the last perk, it would be Tracker. And the reason I like Tracker is because if I'm like chasing an enemy, yeah? And then I can't fight him anymore, I can look at his footsteps while I'm chasing him, and then kill him after that. Alright, so now for the lethal and tactical. I'm using throwing knife because I don't have flaming throwing knife, EHV throwing knife, and flabba. I don't know how to say that one, but it's electric. Maybe. I don't know. But I use the throwing knife because it's a really fast throw and good kill. For the tactical, you would use the heartbeat sensor because you can see enemies around you even though you can't actually see them in person. So that would be my preference for the tactical. Alright, so guys, give me any tips on how to get this loadout better. And other than that, have a good day. And I hope you use this loadout. Goodbye.